Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Blue, and we are back with a new video. As you guys may have heard, patch 9.1 is right around the corner, quickly approaching, finally. So we find ourselves in Orbos on the PTR. We're going to go ahead and figure out everything you need to know moving your Feral from patch 9.0 to 9.1. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like. If you have any comments, go ahead and do that. Subscribe if you would like more information as far as the future. But I hope you guys enjoy the content. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Patch 9.1, what are some of the changes that we can expect? One, of course, is going to be, well, it's not going to be a change, but we're going to stay Night Fae. Night Fae is insanely strong because of the talent tree, and then, of course, obviously, Convoke. We're all aware of Convoke. It's very, very powerful, but Convoke and this tree just work wonders together. So we either stopped at Naya's Tool Burrs or Nye's Poison, wherever path you are. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and unlock more paths. We're going to unlock a third potency, and then we're also going to work our way down to Bonded Hearts, which is a decent buff here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is how you're going to unlock those is just continuing with the campaign, and then going to your Covenant Sanctum, and then doing the Renown, right? Is that what it's called? So as long as you continue to learn Renown, you can go ahead and do that. So we stopped at 40. There's going to be 40 more, so it stops at 80. Luckily for us, we do not need that much Renown to go through our talent tree. So that's great. Now let's go ahead and just read this off in case you are wondering. So we do gain, finally, at the end, Bonded Hearts, gaining a stack of redirected anima from Grove Invigoration, heals up to 5 nearby allies for 2% of their health, up to a maximum of 2,000 health. If any of the affected allies are of another covenant, redirected anima's mastery and maximum health effects are increased by 50% for 5 seconds. So the thing about this, you guys, is to activate, it does need to heal somebody. Okay, so in your raid, in your group, if it cannot find anybody to heal, it's not going to activate. You're only going to get the buff of Grove Invigoration. Now, once it does heal them, that's when it registers, oh, is this person Night Fae of different covenant? Now I'll go ahead and give you an additional buff. So it's not super huge, but hey, it's good, we'll take it. Now, I think one of the big changes moving into patch 9.1, I think something that we're very, very excited about, is the new legendary. So this legendary, Celestial Spirits, is also unlocked via Renown. So as long as you're doing your homework, keeping up on your Renown, this will come unlock passively, which is great for us. But unfortunately, it is time gated, right? So we're not going to get this right away. Once we do get this, though, it's going to take over our legendaries, which is great. So no more Drought of Deep Focus, no more Frenzy Ban and single target. This is going to be very good. And I think a lot of you guys may be like, well, Blue, why is it going to be so good? Essentially, it's going to cut the cooldown in half of Convoke of the Spirits. It's going to align very great with Tiger's Fury, so forth. It's going to split in half the casts as well. So you'd be like, well, why is that so good? The reason that's so strong is bringing it back to our talent tree, right? So Grove Invigoration gives you, when you pop Convoke, it gives you 16 stacks of Grove Invigoration. Essentially, I guess at patch 9.0, none of us are mastery capped, right? At 40% crit, your mastery, you're capped at crit, so we got close to that, but I'm guessing you guys aren't close to mastery. So if you're not close to capping your mastery, this is about a 23% increase to your mastery. So just so you guys understand, moving to patch 9.0, that's a 23% mastery buff for 25% of the fight duration. All right, that's how it ends up working out. And then, of course, you gain stacks passively once in a while, but reliably 23% mastery for 25% of the duration. Now, if you cut the cooldown of Convoke in half, you are doubling the uptime of this mastery buff. So we're going from 25% to 50%. So half of the fight that you're doing, you have a 23% mastery buff, and then hey, if you're proccing it more often, maybe this happens with Bonded Hearts, etc. That's not really that big of an issue. But this is strong. So this, without question, is going to be our best single target legendary, which is great. And also, it may even work its way into being our best AoE. Now, the thing about Convoke is not good in AoE, alright? If I'm in a dungeon, standard, prior to patch 9.1, when I Convoke, it's just saying, hey, I kind of want to Convoke when there's less targets, right? In AoE, in Mythic Plus, all you need to be thinking about with Convoke is, hey, I need to Convoke so I get a mastery buff for 30 seconds. That's pretty much you Convoke at the beginning of the fight. Hopefully you kill those mobs within 30 seconds. You got a huge mastery buff, 400 mastery, 23% increased mastery to those mobs. Those are going to get some big bites, get some really nice bleeds in there. So I'm thinking it may also be good in AoE, which would be dope. If not, you got your Apex, you got your Circle of Life, whatever you feel like doing. But the nice thing is this new Edger may be able to take over and just make it really simple for us. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to probably another big issue that you guys may not be familiar with, and that is loot. Now this is going to be, that's pretty cool. Now this is going to be a little bit difficult to explain, but I think the very best way to explain this is no matter what your class is, every single class in the game is going to get some cool loot from the raid. Now what I mean by cool loot is they're going to be socketed versions of loot, either in your head, your shoulders, or your chest, okay? No matter what you get, no matter what class, you're clothy, you're leather, whatever, everybody's going to have a head, chest, and shoulders, all right? Now, with those socketed gears, there are socket bonuses, okay? The headgear is what we're concerned about. The headgear, the socket bonus, is a DPS increase. Essentially, I'll go ahead and link the video right here. I'll put the video so you guys can see. But essentially what it does is it's just going to continually give you stacks of your main stat, your agility. This is really great for us. Once we reach a certain amount of stacks, it just gives us a crazy amount of agility, and then we restart the cycle over. But as long as we hit that socket bonus, we get our agility buff, and that's amazing. Now for shoulders and chest, that's whatever. We don't care about that. That's more of a healer thing and a tank thing. Okay? So now that we know that, from the raid, we want head, shoulders, and chest. Now let's go ahead and talk about how to activate these socket bonuses. So the headgear says, to activate this, I want you to have 3 sockets that are all, I forget what they call these, unholy shards, okay? Now, of these 3 unholy shards, it's very similar to what I was explaining prior. One is DPS, one is healing, one is tank, okay? But to get this really awesome benefit, I don't care. I want to put 1 DPS, 1 tank, and 1 healing in there just so I can get this massive upgrade. Unfortunately, you can't put, this is the DPS one, by the way. Damaging a target increases your damage done to that target by 0.3%. For 4 seconds, sacking up to 3 times. I believe your auto attacks even do this, so essentially you get 1% increased throughout the fight as long as you're damaging the boss. So unfortunately you can't put this shard in every single piece. You can only put 1 of these shards in your piece. So to get this set bonus, you need to put 1 attack 1 defensive, 1 healing. So that's basically what I did here to get this bonus. Now, since I kind of explained it, you guys are aware that, hey, there's frost shards, and in these frost shards, one of them is a DPS. Same with these bloods. One of them is a DPS. Well, that's where the raid comes in, and we'll go ahead and read the shards as well. So the raid comes in, we get those 3 that we talked about, that there's 3 items that socket. There's also 2 other items, and we'll just go ahead and pull these up right now. I believe one is your hands. So you get a hands gear, and then you can put one of these other benefits of the blood or the frost in here to get that benefit, and then also your feet. Okay, this one, for whatever reason, I don't know why, doesn't have the socket, but these other 2 do. So you want to pick up these 2 feet. All right, so those 2 extra pieces, you can go ahead and put the buffs in there. So the red one says your damage increased by 2%. When you have 50% or more health than your targets. This is great. So this is considerable. This is going to be like, okay, yeah, I kind of do want to get that other socket. I want to get more than 3 socketed gears because that's pretty strong, right? And I realize my camera's over the thing. That's fine. And then the frost version says your damage is increased by 3% for 20 seconds after attacking an enemy you have not yet damaged. So in a single target fight, hey, you got 20 seconds worth. An AoE fight, obviously it's a little bit more substantial, and you can kind of tag other mobs just to get that benefit. So with that said, that's kind of what you need to know as far as the raid. Just some stuff off the top of my head. In the raid, there's only 2 pieces that are best in slot that will drop. One is our back piece, which is pretty crap, that's not really the best of slots to get. And then the other one is the chest. That chest does drop from the last boss in the raid, so that's a huge benefit if you're able to get that, because it's stronger than the other pieces. So we don't have a lot of best in slots. Also, there are drops that are BOEs, and each BOE is also best in slots. So luckily for us, we can pick up those BOEs in the auction house if you got the gold, if you've been farming, to get geared quickly and get your best in slots. Now, one of those pieces, let me go ahead and take a look here. One of those pieces is your wrists. So that's really, really good. So you're going to want to go ahead and pick up that. And then the second piece that drops is your legs. Now, just some word of advice, I would not buy those legs. They're going to be massively expensive. And what you're going to be doing is you're probably, once we're able to unlock the Celestial Spirit Legendary, you're going to be putting that Legendary in your legs. Now, the reason why is that Legendary is only able to be crafted in your legs and feet, and we know from the raid socket that, hey, I might want to leave that feet one open for when I do get that raid socket one, to help me get those sockets and help me get those added sockets in there. So basically that's it, pretty easy. Unfortunately, it might be a little bit more difficult early on when we haven't yet unlocked Celestial Spirits, because that means, hey, we might be moving some of our legendaries around, and that is unfortunately, but that is the case. So such as Drought of Deep Focus, I'm guessing 100% of the people that have Drought of Deep Focus have it in their chest piece, because that's the best, we want, if we're going to upgrade our gear to 235, higher than the raid, we want it in a piece that's substantial and get a good effect. But unfortunately, moving into 9.1, you might want to move that to your neck in case you get the chest drop that has a socket. So Frenzy Band, you probably want to put this on your waist. We don't want to really put that on our wrist slot because we can get that BIS gear from the auction house. Let's take a look at Apex. You're going to want to move that from your shoulders to your waist as well. I know this is probably a Mythic Plus thing, so you don't really care. But if there are any AoE fights in the raid, you're going to want that on your waist. Let's take a look at Circle of Life. You're going to want that on your finger. And I believe I went over everything, right? That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you guys soon. I know a lot of you guys probably aren't playing the game anymore. So hopefully I see you guys soon, see you back. But that's it. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.